All right, Robert Lentini here. Let's talk about The Rock for a moment, shall we? Because he went on the Pat McAfee Show today and said some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And I grew up as a fan of The Rock. He was one of my favorites growing up. I cried as a child when Goldberg beat him at Backlash 2023 in Worcester. So I remember that vividly. I grew up idolizing The Rock. Had all of his action figures. Huge fan of The Rock. Not this version of him, though. I like the final boss. I'm talking about the man, the Dwayne Johnson. I am not a fan of whatever this guy has become with his comments today. Just totally ridiculous, nonsensical, idiotic. I'm sorry, just idiotic comments.
Stupid idiot.
We'll start with his comments about why he was not at WrestleMania 41. In case you missed it, The Rock was a pretty central figure in this storyline between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. He attempted to get the American Nightmare to sell him his soul ahead of Elimination Chamber, showed up at the PLE last month in Toronto, and Rhodes told him to go fuck himself. It was an epic moment.
Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself.
However, John Cena shocked the WWE Universe, kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls, and beat the hell out of him after The Rock gave him this signal. So The Rock, John Cena, and of course Travis Scott are working together. All signs pointed towards The Rock showing up during the main event of WrestleMania and costing Cody Rhodes the undisputed WWE Championship. It would be the proper way to end a full calendar year title reign for Cody Rhodes. He spent 2 years trying to win the title from Roman Reigns. We were all waiting for him to finish the story, the We Want Cody movement. Everybody was invested in Cody Rhodes' story. So you got to give it a proper ending. The idea that The Rock was not at WrestleMania 41, did not interfere in that match, but thought Travis Scott was a worthy replacement. Travis Scott, who's 5'6", I don't know how tall that guy is. He weighs 26 pounds. He's not intimidating at all. He's a rapper. He's a musician. I don't understand where that thought process came in. Hey, Travis Scott interfering in the main event. Why don't we give him a shitty-looking hardcore title, too? That'll just be the cherry on top. I don't understand that thought process, but The Rock tried to explain why he was not at WrestleMania 41. Take a listen.
Why get involved in that finish when the spotlight should just be on, in my opinion, John 17, heel champion? It's not Soul right now. Right now, it's not. But by the way, we'll go back to it.
So in The Rock's words, he wanted to take the spotlight off himself and have it be focused on John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Well, if you don't want the spotlight on yourself, don't insert yourself into the fucking storyline. It's ridiculous. It's like someone smacking somebody in the face and running away and said, look, I didn't want any conflict. Well, why'd you smack the dude in the face? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm not sure if that analogy made any sense, but I'm going with it. He said, let's not make it about Cody's soul or John's soul. Let's let them do what they do. I called John after Elimination Chamber, called Cody and said, I think the final boss's work is done. We've established it. We've pulled off the greatest angle in the history of professional wrestling other than Hulk Hogan turning heel. Okay, whatever. John Cena turning heel was a great angle, but you got to follow it up. Hulk Hogan joining the NWO was followed up with years of storylines. They were the biggest figures in WCW. And they had a plan. Eventually, it got ridiculous with Virgil and a bunch of other lower-level talents joining the group. But initially, they had a plan. And they didn't have Dennis Rodman walk to the ring at WCW Starrcade to cost someone the title. And then he even said, like, he would have changed the ending. He would have done some things differently. But there's a lot of people in the creative room. And, you know, he's on the board of directors. He's established himself as basically the biggest heel in the company. He's the final boss. How do you not show up for the biggest show of the year? It makes no sense. And to make matters worse, he said he showed up at Elimination Chamber because Ari Emanuel called him and said the ticket sales for Elimination Chamber were struggling. Okay, show up and make an appearance. Why'd you show up and insert yourself into the biggest storyline in the company? It could have just said The Rock will be at Elimination Chamber. He could have just cut a promo or whatever. They didn't have to insert him into the Cody Rhodes and John Cena storyline. But this storyline goes back a year. The Rock confronted Cody Rhodes on the Raw after WrestleMania XL. The night after he won the title, they swapped titles. He put the undisputed WWE Championship on his shoulder, said it looked nice, and said he'd be coming after him. And then a year later, we got nothing. We got Travis Scott. It's terrible. A lot of people are saying that this has got to be some kind of political thing backstage. Jonathan Coachman made a video about it today, and I tend to agree with him.
I've been around enough backstage to know when creatively you don't get along, they're not getting along. And The Rock somehow wanted to make a statement.
Because what other explanation is there? Why would The Rock insert himself into a storyline ahead of WrestleMania and then not show up? And from his comments today, looks like he's not showing up anytime soon. So what's the deal with Travis Scott? Are we getting Cody Rhodes versus Travis Scott at Backlash? Or is that just a one-off? He showed up at WrestleMania with a hardcore title and ruined the main event. I can't believe The Rock's explanation. I kind of don't want him in power if this is how he views the business. Like, I can just float in and float out. I'm making Jumanji 3 or whatever the fuck he's got going on. If you're going to return, you don't have to be there all the time. But when you make a decision to return, see the storyline out. You don't just bail in the middle of a storyline. Oh, I didn't want the spotlight to be on me. Well, why the fuck do you put the spotlight on yourself then? It's just one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Let me know what you think of The Rock's explanation for missing WrestleMania in the comment section below. I can't believe it. I find it to be utterly ridiculous.